Hello, everyone. Welcome back to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm Reverend Tomas Garza, and we're starting the Song of Prayer today. This is one of the two supplements to A Course in Miracles that, by the way, was dictated to Helen Schucman in exactly the same way as the main components being the text, the workbook, and the manual for teachers. We've looked at the psychotherapy purpose, process, and practice supplement, and now we delve into the Song of Prayer. And if you're familiar with this, if you've been through this before, it's beautiful. The language is highly poetic, it's lyrical, and the metaphors and images that Jesus uses to communicate prayer, forgiveness, and healing, the themes of this supplement, are beautiful. They're beautiful, and I invite you to enjoy it and delve into it. We'll be going through here in this video series, of course, one segment at a time. That's a theme with this course, isn't it? One miracle at a time. Yeah. One act of forgiveness at a time, one extension of love at a time, one workbook lesson per day. Yeah. That's all we can do is one at a time. So you may know people that said, hey, I did the workbook in 30 days. All we have here in the world is this present moment. So how we use it matters. And as you may know, we have a choice between love or fear in the present moment, between the thought system of the Holy Spirit or the ego, God or the ego, light or dark, life or death, if you prefer. That one might be a little harsh, but same idea, right? So, what is prayer? Well, ultimately, prayer is how we interrelate with God. That's how we communicate, it's how we interact, express our shared love. God, the Creator, us, ourselves, as the created, the Son of God, one with our Creator. Ultimately, we're simply in constant contact, having realized, accepted our oneness, and having removed all of our artificially imposed barriers to this truth. This is true prayer. Now, here in the world, we're having a time of it, aren't we? The world can appear to be alternately beautiful, stunningly, stunningly beautiful, and then at the same time, a shit show. So, what is prayer here in the world? Well, it's what's most going to fit our need. Now, the introduction to the Song of Prayer that we're talking about here states clearly, unequivocally, there is but one need. The remaining two paragraphs here in the introduction are a call to practice. They are an invitation to lay down our illusions and recognize our essential oneness. It's a call to practice. Here in the world, we use the phrase a call to arms, right? Which I'm choosing not to use for many reasons. I hope some of them are patently obvious. We're not taking up arms against anyone or anything, because as we've seen here in the course, that would be to make that thing real to us. And that's exactly what we don't want to do. So it's a call to, well, action, if you will. It's a call to practice. It's an invitation to us to delve into this supplement in greater detail, which we will do in subsequent videos. Because as I mentioned, it's really poetic, it's beautiful, and it's quite compelling. It's also quite revelatory. It tells us a lot about what prayer is and is not, and what constitutes true, effective prayer and what does not, what constitutes true, effective forgiveness and what does not, what constitutes true, effective healing and what does not. These are the three main sections of the Song of Prayer: prayer, forgiveness, healing. So if you're thinking, well, there's a right and a wrong way to do it, well, yes and no to that. There is a way to forgive. There is a way to pray and communicate that undoes the ego. And we have to be taught this, don't we? Which is what A Course in Miracles is for. In fact, it's what any spiritual tradition is ultimately for, is to teach us this so we can set our ego aside, so we can set it completely to the side, so we can just disidentify with it and instead practice the extension of love, forgiveness, miracles. Yeah. That's what we do. And we need this instruction because we don't have the right idea here in the world. And no fault of our own. We're all conditioned to think that this is real. Are we not? I mean, we all went through biology class in school. Everything that we appear to see with the body's eyes and appear to experience with the body's senses says this is real. And come to find out, in spirituality, it's not at all. There's some part of us deep down inside that knows this, which is why we study spirituality in the first place. It's why you're watching this video in the first place. I mean, I hope it's not because I have a cool rug behind me. You know, there's something calling you to this. So I invite you to get in touch with it. Yeah, it's your inner teacher speaking to you. Doesn't speak necessarily in words, does it? It gives ideas, intuitive hits, feelings, gut feelings. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it could be something that someone else says. It could be something that I say that really spurs you on in a good way to practice. This song of prayer is a call to practice. So stick with me here for the next couple of weeks as we go through it. And then whatever part of this course you find yourself on, just do it. Do what Jesus suggests. If you're working through the workbook for students, do the day's lesson. If you're working through another part or you're not familiar with this material and you're just checking it out, spirituality is about action. It's about putting it into practice, doing it. That's how we learn that everything that we're reading and hearing about on YouTube is true, by experiencing it for ourselves. So while these concepts are, in fact, beyond words, we're using words because that's what we've got here in the world, right? I'm using a projected image on your screen with a camera and microphone and a ring light and all that fun, fancy stuff. We're using these symbols to communicate with each other, but reality, truth, is in fact beyond words. However, here's the great part: it can be experienced. So stick around and we'll see how we can essentially fast track ourselves to experiencing it. Because aren't you done with the runaround? Aren't you done messing around? I mean, really. Course in Miracles gives you the opportunity to, spiritually speaking, get down to business and get her done. To use a phrase that's popular here in the world, to awaken to the truth of who you really are. All right, guys. So thank you for joining me. As always, the red arrow here in the bottom of my screen is a subscribe button. So if you like this content, I invite you to subscribe. And I also invite your comments here on YouTube, or reach out to me via email. My email is in the YouTube description. These are great ways to ask questions and continue a dialogue, which is why I'm here, is to serve as a guide. So however I can help you, please let me know, and I will see you back here in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.